Hello friends, welcome to our channel. In this lecture, I would like to show another example, that is example 2 based on the stiffness matrix method. So already in the last lecture, I cleared the basic concepts of the stiffness matrix method, introduction, formula, all the things. At the same time, I solved one example based on those stiffness matrix method. So what is the difference of the last problem and today's problem? So see here, today I chosen such type of problem which gets some 3 by 3 matrices and external forces are also involved here. But in the last lecture, if you observe that one means there will be no external forces in this question. At the same time, there will be 2 degree of freedom, that is 2 by 2 matrices. So today I am taking such type of problem. You will get an idea about the 3 by 3 matrix, how to solve the 3 by 3 matrices. At the same time, what are the external forces. Okay, then I will move to the first step. So always remember, our basic unknowns are the displacement. So for solving the stiffness matrix method, our first step to remember is our basic unknowns are the displacements. So how many degree of freedom in the given beam? So how many degree of freedoms in the given beam? So that can be taken as degree of kinematic indeterminacy. Degree of kinematic indeterminacy. So see here, at hinge there will be only one rotational moment. At hinge there will be only one rotational moment. Similarly, for the roller, there will be one translational moment and one rotational moment. But here, horizontal load is not given in the continuous beam. That is the reason horizontal moment is not there, not considered. Therefore, there will be only one rotational moment at C. Similarly, one rotational moment at D. So finally, here one and here also 1. So therefore, your degree of kinematic indeterminacy will be equal to 3. So if our degree of kinematic indeterminacy will be equal to 3 means, therefore you will get 3 unknowns to solve this problem. So 3 unknown displacements to solve this problem. At the same time, it is in the form of 3 by 3 matrices. So if your degree of kinematic indeterminacy will be equal to 2 means, it will be 2 by 2 matrices. If your degree of kinematic indeterminacy will be equal to 4 means, it will be 4 by 4 matrices. If our degree of kinematic indeterminacy equal to 1 means, it will be only one matrix, 1 by 1 matrix. So that is only solved by using this general equation. So you have to modify this general equation in the form of 3 by 3 matrices. If you see clearly here, this is the general equation. Delta equal to k into k inverse into p minus pl. So based on the degree of freedom you obtained here is 2. So this is the 2 by 2 matrices. That is the reason we are taking delta 1 and delta 2 are the two unknowns, and this can be written in the 2 by 2 matrix form, k11, k12, k21, k22. Based on this one only, you obtain external forces and forces due to the given loading condition. At the same time, here the matrix will be in the form of the 3 by 3. So I am changing this formula according to the matrices. So there will be 3 unknowns. So your degree of kinematic indeterminacy will be equal to 3 means there will be 3 unknowns, that is delta 1, delta 2, delta 3. Again this can be written in the form of 3 by 3 matrices, that is k11, k12, k13, k21, k22, k23, k31, k32, k33. Similarly, external forces based on the unknown displacement conditions and given loading conditions also based on this only. So this is the 3 by 3 matrices. You can convert this formula, you can modify this formula in the form of 3 by 3 matrices. Okay, you please remember, if it will be 4 by 4 matrices means, you can take down, there will be 4 unknowns and this one will be k11 to k44 and this one will be p1 to p4 and this one will be p1l to p4l. Then we will move to the next step. See here, if you clearly observe this continuous beam, at B there will be a hinged support, at C there will be roller support, at D there will be roller support. Both at end A and end D are the free ends. So BA is a overhanging position of the beam. Similarly, right side DE is also overhanging position of the beam. This overhanging portion being the determinate position. So this overhanging position being the determinate position, this effect will be on the total rest of the beam. Okay, whatever the overhanging position on the beam, so this effect will be on the total rest of the beam. To make our calculation simpler or easier, we are removing this overhanging position, and replaced by the cantilever movement like this. So see here, this is the overhanging position of the beam. To make our calculations easier, we are modifying this given beam like this, as shown in the equivalent beam figure B. So this is the force kilonewton, 100 kilonewton at a distance of 3 meters from the B. So it will be acting like this, it will be acting towards B like this, which is in the form of anti-clockwise. This force into distance, this force will be acting towards B like this. So therefore I am removing this overhanging position and replaced with 300 kilonewton meter at B, which is in the anti-clockwise symbol. At the same time, this is the overhanging position at D. So a 100 kilonewton load is applied at it, acting at its free end. So therefore, to make our calculations easier, here also I am removing this overhanging position and replace 200 kilonewton meter like this. So see here, force into distance, this will be acting clockwise towards D. So see here, you always remember force into distance. I am replacing this given load as a cantilever moment, both at B and D. Force into distance, 100 into 3, 300 kilonewton meter, 100 into 2, 200 kilonewton meter. But it will be acting towards D in the clockwise, but it will be acting towards B in the anti-clockwise. So you please remember both these things. Then go to the next step, coordinate selected. So how many degree of freedoms are there? There will be 3 degree of freedoms. That is the reason we are selecting 3 coordinate positions. So at B I am selecting one coordinate position, at C another coordinate position, at 3 another coordinate position. So therefore totally there will be 3 degree of freedom. Based on that we are selecting 3 coordinates positions. So here delta 1, at C delta 2, at D delta 3. So delta 1 will be equal to theta B, because at the B support. Delta 2 will be equal to theta C, delta 3 will be equal to theta D. You please remember that unknowns also. Then move to the next step. Fully restrained structure. See here, at B there will be hinge support. So see in the equivalent beam, at B there will be hinge support, at C and D there will be roller support. But here we are removing the entire given supports and we are fixing the total structure. Means at B we are fixing the structure, at C we are fixing the structure, and at D we are fixing the structure. So in the next step we are releasing one by one one by one support and finding the stiffness matrices. So I will discuss that one also in the another step. So before going to that one, so we will calculate the fixed end moments based on the fully restrained structure. See here, this is fully restrained structure. Based on that we are calculating fixed end moments. So see here, on a particular span BC, if a concentrated load, so exactly a point load is acting at the center, what is the formula for finding fixed moment for BC? That one will be equal to minus WL by 8. So your W will be 200 kilonewton and your total length of the span from here to here, it will be equal to 5 plus 5, 10, and divided by 8. If you simplify this one, you will get 250 kilonewton meter. Similarly, whatever the fixed moment for span CB will be exactly equal with the opposite time sign to the BC. So if you simplify this one, you will get 250 kilonewton meter. And again, force in the CD. So fixed moment in the CD span. Here it will be acting in the form of an eccentric load. Eccentric load means your formula will be changes. What is that formula? Minus WAB square by L square. Here W will be equal to 250 and this 2 meters will be A and this one will be B. So minus WAB square by L square. So what is the L value here? Total length of the particular span, that is 5 meters divided by 25. So if you simplify all the values, you will get minus 180 kilonewton meter. And again, see here, what is the fixed moment for DC? So for this one, so your formula will be plus W A square B by L square. So A, B, L values will be same. Just substitute in this formula, you will get 120 kilonewton meter. So again, so then go to the, then see the formula. P1, P2, P3 are the external forces, and P1L, P2L, P3L are the forces based on the given loading conditions. So see here, in what way we are finding this P1, P2, P3 and P1L, P2L, P3L. See here, final forces P1, P2, P3. So already the given beam can be modified like this. We are removing the cantilever moments and replaced with 300 kilonewton meter both at B and D. So see here, this additional moment 300 kilonewton meter is our final force at B, because we are selecting first coordinate position at B. So whatever the additional moment at coordinate position B, we are taking that one as P1. See here, which is acting here anti-clockwise, that is the region we are taking minus 300 kilonewton meter. Similarly at P2, so if you see at second coordinate position at C, if there will be any additional moment or any direct movement is given in the question, so there will be no any direct movement is given in the question. That is the reason your final force P2 will be equal to 0. Based on the coordinate position only, we are selecting that final forces as. Then move to the third coordinate position. If you observe, P3 is at your third coordinate position. Is there any additional movement or any direct movement is there at coordinate position, third coordinate position? Yes. So there will be an additional moment of 200 kilonewton meter acting clockwise towards D. That is the reason plus 200 kilonewton meter is your P3 final force. Like that, you have to take P1, P2, P3 final forces. For example, if you see the small difference between the last problem and today's problem means, so in the last problem, P1 and P2 will be equal to 0. Why? Because in the given problem, there will be no any such type of direct moments applied, or we are modifying the given beam like this. Why? Because there will be no any overhanging positions or any direct movements in the given question. That is the reason your final forces this condition will be 0. Then move to the next step. P1L, P2L, P3L. I already told you so many times, this P1L, P2L, P3L can be obtained by the given loading conditions. So based on the given loading conditions, we are finding the fixed moments. So what is the P1L here? So here we are selected coordinate position at B. So P1L related to first coordinate position, P2L related to second coordinate position, P3L related to third coordinate position. So what are the fixed moments? So P1L based on the fixed moments. So what are the fixed moments at first coordinate position? So at first coordinate position, there will be only one fixed moment, that is fixed moment BC. So that fixed moment BC will be equal to minus 250 kilonewton meter. We are taking here that one. Similarly, what are the fixed moment at the second coordinate position? Our second coordinate position, we are considering that one as P2L. So what are the fixed moment at second coordinate position? At second coordinate position, there will be two fixed moments. That is force in the fixed moment for CB in the span CB. Similarly, fixed moment for CD in the span CD. So if there will be two fixed moments means we have to add those two. We have to add those two and take down that as fixed moments at C. So that one will be equal to MFCD plus MFCB. So which is 250 kilonewton meter plus 180 means totally you will get 70 kilonewton meter. So I am taking here that one as direct 70 kilonewton meter here. Then P3L for the third coordinate position. So what are the fixed moment at the third coordinate position? So there will be one fixed moment at this third coordinate position. So that one will be fixed moment for span DC will be equal to 120 kilonewton meter. So therefore I am taking that third coordinate position here directly. Okay, then we will move to the next step. So So then move to our next step. So that is case 1, unit displacement in coordinate direction 1. See here, we are applying unit displacement in coordinate direction 1. So by maintaining fixity both at C and D, we are just releasing the structure only at B and applying unit displacement in coordinate direction 1. So that one will be 1 1. So what is 1 1 refers? So already I shown this particular topic very clearly in the last example. If you see once means you will get a clear idea based on this concept. So your K11, K1 for this one for force and this one for displacement. Force in the first coordinate direction due to the displacement in the first coordinate direction. Okay. Similarly K21, F and D. So force in the second coordinate direction due to the displacement in the first coordinate direction. Similarly, force in the third coordinate direction due to the displacement in the first coordinate direction. Like that, I explained very clearly in the last example. So if you watch that one means you will get clearly, very clearly what is K11, what is K21 and what is K31. And at the same time, I am telling that applying a unit displacement. So you are applying a unit displacement at in coordinate direction 1. So what is that unit displacement? So almost always whenever you are applying unit displacement here means how much the moment will be developed here. So that one will be equal to 4 ei by L. So in what way you obtained that one? Based on the slope deflection equation only you obtain that one. That also explained clearly in the last exam itself. That is the reason you please go and watch that video and then you clear the concept based on this particular moments, that one will be equal to 4ei by L. Again, otherwise you please remember this one as your note point. Moment required to rotate a beam by 1 radian. Moment required to rotate a beam by 1 radian is the stiffness of the beam. Its value will be 4 ei by L. So whatever the moment required to rotate a beam by 1 radian and its stiffness value will be equal to 4 ei by L. So like that, whatever the moment you are inducing unit displacement in coordinate direction 1 means you can take down that one equal to 4 ei by L directly. Otherwise, moment develop at other end when one end of fixed beam rotated by 1 radian is, so whatever the moment you are applying here is 4 ei by L, and at other end whenever it is fixed, here the moment will be developed 2 ei by L. So don't be confused. If you have, if you want to remember all those things means you have to remember these things. Otherwise you just simply take down like this. So whatever the moment we are considering at this K11 position, that one will be equal to the 4 ei by L. You please remember that one as your unit moment value. So whatever the moment applied here, that one will be equal to 4 ei by L, and whatever the moment developed at the other end, it will be just half of to the this K11 means we are just carrying half of the moment to its other end. So whatever the moment developed at the other end will be equal to half of that moment. So that one will be equal to 2 ei by L. 2 ei by L. So you please remember in a shortcut way. You no need to do the calculation all the things for 4 ei by L like in the previous example. So you just remember whatever the moment we are inducing, that one will be equal to 4 ei by L, and whatever the moment at the other end we are just carrying half of the moment to its other end, that one will be equal to 2 ei by L. See here. And what about K31? And what about K31? So whatever the moment we are inducing 4 ei by L, it can develop moment at its other end, but not at the K31. So whatever the moment inducing at K11, it cannot develop any moment at K31. Why? Because this is for B, it is the connecting member to the C. So therefore we are just carrying half of the moment to its other end, but it cannot develop any movement at D. Why? Because it is too foreign, it is away from B, it is not connecting member to B. Therefore we are considering this K31 will be equal to 0. And what about this K11? That one will be equal to 4 ei by LBC, span of LBC. So wherever I equal to in the given beam, in the given condition, see here, in the given condition, so which is wherever for span BC I equal to 2i, for span BC I equal to 2i. Therefore Substitute wherever I equal to 2i here and simplify that one, you will get 0.8 ei. And what about k21? We are just taking half of the moment in the k11, that one will be equal to 2ei by l, 2e into 2i by l, that one will be equal to 0.4 ei. So then move to the next case, unit displacement in coordinate direction 2. So we are by maintaining fixity both at B and D, we are releasing the structure at B. We are releasing the structure at B and applying. We are releasing the structure at B and applying see here, by maintaining fixity both at B and D, we are releasing the structure at C and applying unit moment at C. So that is K22. So what about this K22? Force in the coordinate direction 2 due to unit displacement in the coordinate direction 2. So at the other end, we are applying the same moment. Control. See here, we are applying a unit moment at K22, that is equal to 4 ei by L in the span CD plus 4 ei by L in the span CB. So we are applying a unit moment at C. So based on that, you will get rotational displacement on the beam like this. So similarly, rotational displacement on the span CB like this. So here K22 will be equal to 4 ei by L unit moment per span CD. Similarly, 4 ei by L unit moment for span CD. So whatever the moment applied, you are just carrying half of the moment for the particular span CB to the other end, that is K12 equal to 2 ei by L span CB. Similarly, whatever the moment applying here at K22, that is 4 EIL by 4 EI by L CD. So we are just carrying half of the moment to the other end, that is K32 equal to 2 EI by L CD. So see here, your K22 will be equal to 4 EI by L, that is 4 EI by L. So that one will be for span CD. Don't take this BC, remove this one. See here, this 4 EI by L for this span BC. Similarly, this 4 EI by L for this span CD. So take down wherever I equal to 2I according to the given question and L equal to 10, totally 10 meters. Similarly, 4 EI by L. So 4E wherever I equal to I for span CD and L equal to 5 meters. So if you simplify this one, you will get K22 will be equal to 1.6 EI. Similarly, we are talking about K12. What about this K12? Force in the coordinate direction 1 due to the displacement in the coordinate direction 2. So that one will be equal to half of the 4 ei by L for span BC, that is 2 ei by L for span BC. 2e wherever I you can consider 2i according to the given problem, and wherever L, that one will be equal to total length of the span of our BC will be equal to 10 meters. If you simplify this one, you will get 0.4 EI. Similarly for 3-2, force in the coordinate direction 3 due to the displacement in the coordinate direction 2. So if you take down whatever K32 will be equal to half of the K22, that is for particular span CD. So 2 EI by L CD. 2 EI by L means wherever L, total length of the span 5 meters and I equal to I. So which is not given any value. Therefore, that is the reason we are taking I for span CD in the simplification. So therefore, that one will be equal to 0.4 EI. And again, move to the next condition. So we are maintaining fixity both at B and C. At the same time, we are releasing the structure at D and applying a unit moment here. We are releasing structure at See here. So see here, unit displacement in coordinate direction 3. So we are maintaining the structure at we are maintaining fixity both at B and C. We are releasing the structure at D and applying a unit movement at D and applying a unit movement at D. See here, we are releasing the structure at D and applying a unit movement at D. So what happened? Based on that unit movement, you will get rotational displacement like this. So force at coordinate direction 3 due to the displacement at coordinate direction 3. So whatever the movement applied here, it will carry to its other end. So that is K23. Force at coordinate direction 2 due to the displacement in the coordinate direction 3. So what about this B? So there will be, this is the third coordinate position. You consider this one as K13. Force at the coordinate direction 1 due to the displacement in the coordinate direction 3. So based on the third displacement, you will obtain force here. Based on the third displacement, you obtain force at the second coordinate. So based on the third displacement, you obtain force at the third coordinate. So that is the general meaning here. See here, what about this one? We are applying unit movement 4EI by L span CD or DC. So that one will be equal to K33 will be equal to 4EI, where I equal to I and span equal to length, particular length of that CD. That one will be equal to 0.8 EI. And what about this K23? What about this K23? Whatever the unit moment applied here, just half of the moment to its other end. That is half of the 4 EI by L. That one will be equal to 2 EI by L. So if you simplify that one, you will get 0.4 EI. So whatever we are inducing this force, we are whatever we are inducing the force, so we are inducing a force at D. It can develop force at C. That is half of the force can be developed at C, but it cannot develop any force at B. Why? Because it is not connecting member to D, and at the same time it is far away for the D. Therefore, your K13 will be equal to 0 here. So whatever the moment inducing here, it cannot develop any force at B, but it can develop half of the force at C. Okay, you please remember that one. So finally, you obtain all these stiffness matrices K11, K12, K1, K31, K32, K33, K21, K22, K23. So you also remember one thing. So whatever the value obtained in the K13, that will be equal to K31. Similarly, whatever the value obtained in K12 matrix, that one will be equal to K21. Similarly, if you solving 4 by 4 matrix means K14 will, sorry, K21. 4 by 4 in the 4 by 4 matrix, K14 will be equal to K41. Like that you have to remember while solving. So you please use these shortcuts. Don't go for K13 equal to entire all, you don't see entire all these things. After obtaining all the values, that is K11, K12, K13, K21, K22, K23 and K31, K32 and K33, you please substitute all the values in the formula, that is here, and P1, P2, P3, P1L, P2L, P3L here, and then simplify by using your calculators. Directly you will get delta 1, delta 2, delta 3 will be equal to minus 27.08, 70.83, 135.42. So I already told you in the starting itself, where delta 1 will be equal to theta B, this one will be equal to theta C, this one will be equal to theta D. So therefore take down this one as EI into delta 1 means EI into theta B will be equal to this minus 27.08. So EI theta C will be equal to 70.83, or EI theta D will be equal to 135.42, or else directly take down theta B equal to minus 27.08 EI, theta C will be equal to 70.83 by EI, and theta D will be equal to 135.42 by EI. So all these are the obtained displacement by using stiffness matrix method. So based on these displacements, you can calculate the final moments. So these final moments can be obtained by using the slope deflection equations. So these final moments can be obtained by using the slope deflection equation. See here, already you people know. See here, final moment for span BC. So already you know the formula, m bar BC plus 2a by L into 2 theta B plus theta C. You know the fixed moment for span BC. So already it can be obtained by the formula minus WL by 8, which is 250 kilonewton meter, and 2E. So property of the beam BC will be 2y divided by length of the span BC will be 10 meters into 2. Theta B will be the obtained displacement by using stiffness matrix. That one will be substitute here. Similarly, theta C value. So if you simplify this one, you will get directly minus 300 kilonewton meter. So if you do the same procedure for MCB, MCD, MDC, you will get 182.5 kilonewton meter minus 182.5 kilonewton meter, 200 kilonewton meter. So finally, you obtained all these final moments. For MBC, it will be minus 300 kilonewton meter, MCB it will be 182.5 kilonewton meter, MCD it will be minus 182.5 kilonewton meter, and MDC it will be 200 kilonewton meter. And at the same time, you observe these two, MBA equal to 300 kilonewton meter. Why I am taking 300 kilonewton meter? Actually, it is acting clockwise. Actually, it is acting clockwise like this, but I am taking 300 kilonewton meter. If you observe span BC, it is also acting anti-clockwise like this. So if both are acting anti-clockwise means, so it will be some minus 600 kilonewton meter moment will be acting at that position. So this is the overhanging position of the beam. That is the reason what we are doing means, to make our due to the overhanging position, we have to balance that moment. So if our span BC will be 300 kilonewton meter, which is acting anti-clockwise means, I am taking for span BA. For span BA, the moment will be positive direction, which is 300 kilonewton meter clockwise. So I am for so this is called resisting moment. To make the beam in to keep the beam in balancing position, we are just changing the sign and taking that moment. Similarly, if you observe that this is span CD. So the final moment per span DC will be equal to 200 kilonewton meter. So this one will be clockwise moment. This one will be clockwise moment. At the same time, final moment for DE also 200 kilonewton meter only, which are acting clockwise towards D. So to keep the beam in the balancing position, we are changing this sign and keeping here negative moment. So such that we are keeping the resisting moment. To make the beam in the balancing position, we are keeping this 200 kilonewton meter as the negative anti-clockwise 200 kilonewton meter. So if you see here, for MDC it will be 200 kilonewton meter, and MDE it will be minus 200 kilonewton meter. So both moments are in opposite direction, means such that the beam will kept in the balancing position. So finally, if you observe these things means, some of the moments at this particular joint, at joint C, if you sum these two, you will get 0. So similarly for at B and at A also, if you sum means you will get 0 condition, or else in the balancing condition both at the overhanging position. So you please remember this small concept, in what way you are keeping the moments in the balancing position. So friends, this is the procedure for solving this problem. If you like this video, please like this video, share it to your friends, and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.